Man, fuck Eminem. Okay, maybe not fuck Eminem. Eminem is still the GOAT. He's literally been my favorite rapper since I was like in grade 5 when one of my friends put me on with his music. But even me being the stan that I am for so many years, 10 years if not over 10 years now, I still reach a point where I'm just like, I really feel like saying fuck Eminem because I've been really disappointed in this nigga for a long time now. For about the past 5 years, I've been disappointed in him. And it's because this man has the ability to save hip hop, but chooses not to. Now, I'm gonna get to what this tool actually is, this thing that Eminem can actually do to save hip hop. And he really could do it, but he just doesn't want to, or maybe it's not that he doesn't want to, but just doesn't realize that he actually has this ability to save hip hop. But before I get to that, let me just vent a little. Eminem's always been one of the artists that are just far from appropriation claims. People don't really go after Eminem for being an appropriator or anything like that. Even in today's political atmosphere where everybody's always triggered about something a white person does. And I'm not saying that it's usually unprovoked because I mean, white people, you know how they can be, no offense if you're watching this and you're white. But Eminem's always been far from appropriation claims because we actually understand how much this man loves hip hop to the point where he could dedicate the past two albums and countless random freestyles that he drops out of nowhere to the fact that hip hop today isn't as good as it used to be and really needs saving. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably already know what Eminem's beef with hip hop is today. Just to sum it all up, because I've spoken about this before, but Eminem's biggest issue with hip hop today is this thing called mumble rap or trap music that's taken over since like 2016. I'm not gonna get into detail with this, but or from my opinion, it really seems like Eminem has a problem because these young artists, he doesn't see them as lyricists. And you know, for the most part, he's right. A lot of these dudes aren't lyricists.
Babies, I like fucking. All my bitches call me fucker.
A lot of these dudes are just temporary rappers, if I can say. They just pop up, they have their 15 minutes of fame, they get caught in some type of controversy, and then they fall off. But now Eminem has had this problem, and my biggest problem with Eminem is that he just chooses not to fix it. Because let's look at someone like J. Cole for an example. J. Cole, after coming back from his 50 fucking year hiatus from hip hop before dropping KOD, he came back and I guess he noticed there was something wrong in hip hop. Granted, this was around the time that trap music had come into the scene, but J. Cole noticed that a lot of these young artists blow up way too young, and the problem is that they're unguided in their success. So the thing I respect about J. Cole is that he came back and he didn't even need to drop an entire album like Eminem did twice about his frustrations against trappers today. He came back, and instead of coming back with aggression, he came back with knowledge. He decided that okay, there's a problem with these young artists. They reach this success, but they end up doing stupid things instead of actually being mature and wise about their positions in society right now. J. Cole saw that a lot of these dudes blow up, and what do? They buy countless stupid things. They flex on the gram unnecessarily. They get themselves purposely caught in all types of controversies on purpose just for the clout. And he came back just to tell them that no, this isn't what you're supposed to do when you blow up, because before you know it, you're the new old rapper that everybody thinks fell off, and you don't have any clout, you don't have any money, you probably don't even have any real friends anymore because everybody you surrounded yourself with were just yes men. So that's why I fuck with J. Cole. He came back with knowledge and he wanted to teach these young artists. Eminem, on the other hand, who again, just to remind you, can save hip hop but chooses not to. He just chooses to shit on these young rappers. And the thing is that these young rappers are relevant now because they resonate with a younger audience. So now that younger audience is going to look to Eminem and see him bashing their favorite rapper, and automatically they're going to get defensive and bash Eminem. Hence now, although Eminem is one of the most respected rappers in hip hop, a lot of people are shitting on him because they feel like he's not in tune with hip hop today. And to an extent that isn't untrue, but my frustrations with Eminem are due to the fact that he can save hip hop. And let me tell you how he can actually save hip hop. Let me tell you this tool that Eminem has in his pocket but just chooses not to take out. And it's actually simple: collaborations. I recently did a video about Drake's best cosigns, and it really put into perspective how far a cosign can actually go. Look at someone like Blockboy JB for an example. He came from being an absolute nobody to a double XL freshman within a year off of just one Drake feature. That was it. And even today he's well known. He kind of feels like he's in the middle of his fall off because nobody's really, or at least I don't know anybody who fucks with Blockboy JB, but as of right now he's still pretty relevant. So what I'm trying to say is, look at Eminem now. Eminem, who just his name alone can do so much for an up and coming artist, and there are so many up and coming lyricists that although they already have, I guess, reached their success, Eminem could take them to a whole new level if he just actually looked at them and tried to give them a helping hand. There's so many young artists that can do so much, even though he already is Grammy Grammy nominated and already has the Dr. Dre cosign. Look at someone like YB and Cordae. Do you know how far an Eminem feature could take YB and Cordae? Look at someone like Denzel Curry, who's blowing up properly now. Do you know what Denzel Curry could do with an Eminem feature? Look at someone like JID. Do you know how far an Eminem feature could take JID? Eminem could do so much for these artists. He could turn them from pretty well-known young artists in hip-hop to household names, and that's even if the song isn't even that successful, because this is Eminem. Anything he puts his name on, people are tuning in. Now I say this with the exception of people like Boogie, who's already signed to his label. He's obviously going to get some of Eminem's attention, and someone like Young M.A., who did appear on his Music to Be Murdered By album. And I'm not really going to go that deep with Don Toliver because he's not even a rapper, and besides, in my opinion, he really seems like an industry plant, but I guess that's a topic for another video. Like, how though? Like, who the fuck is this nigga? Like, do me a favor, you, whoever's watching this, you think to yourself, how many Don Toliver songs do you know of his songs that you know? A song where he's not the feature, it's his song, and maybe even him alone. How many Don Toliver songs do you know? Yeah, zero. Probably zero. Unless you're the 5 that actually know who he is. The rest of us, this dude is a nobody. And it's just so insane because, like, how do you go from being an absolute no one? Nobody knows your name. Nobody even knows what your face looks like. How do you go from that to being featured on one of the biggest albums of 2018? And then following that up in the next year with another album with one of the biggest artists in hip-hop right now. And then following that on with being featured on Eminem's album. Out of nowhere. To this day, I still don't even know a single Don Toliver song. I barely even know what this nigga's face looks like, but he's still blowing up to such extreme proportions, and it's like, how? This doesn't make sense. I remember when NF beat some of your favorite rapper in the #1 spot with his album, and people were so quick to call him an industry plant, even though this nigga's been on the come up for quite some time now. He's been relevant on underground hip-hop, but just because he beat a well-known rapper, people were so quick to say he's an industry plant. This makes no sense. But then you get Don Toliver, who blew up out of the nowhere like a fucking cold sore, and nobody's even gonna blink an eye. Like, I really feel like I'm alone in this situation, but hey, you know what, this is a topic for another video. So yeah, in my conclusion, Eminem, in my opinion, I don't even think hip-hop is in need of saving. I'll listen to conscious rap when I feel like listening to conscious rap, and I'll listen to trappers when I feel like trapping. I feel like that's a good thing. It gives variety. But I'm just seeing this from Eminem's point of view. Marshall, if you really believe that hip-hop needs saving, how are you gonna just sit back and do nothing about it and just complain? How do you think that's actually gonna change the state of hip-hop? This logic just doesn't make sense to me, pun unintended. Because you're really starting to seem like that old man who's yelling at the young kids for playing on his lawn. And a majority of hip-hop today are those young kids. And those young kids don't respect that old man. So Eminem, in my opinion, if you keep this up, I fear that no one's gonna respect you anymore. And like I said, you're my favorite artist, so that really breaks my heart. If you're watching this video and you liked what you heard, please hit the like button real quick. That could really help me out a lot as a new YouTuber. If you really liked what you saw, please subscribe real quick. I have a lot of good content coming out soon. And yeah.